who lost everything: wealth, health, family, and his elite status, all swept away in the blink of an eye. A gripping and engaging story of doubt, grief, sickness, and depression. The Faith of Job is a gut-wrenching, thought-provoking, inspiring musical odyssey about the journey of faith. Join us August 17th at the Stevenson Auditorium, 979 Middleton Street in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Showtime is at 3 p.m. For ticket information, go to thefaithofjobplay.com.
Rise and shine to the morning light. Sister MJ brings the truth so bright. Health and nature in every sound. Feel the rhythm, let's get unbound. From a higher we get our power. Every herb, every healing flower. Sister MJ shows the way. Naturally living every day. Naturally you, naturally free, naturally living as God meant to be. Breathe the air that's fresh and pure. Nature's bounty is the cure. Sister MJ shows what's real in every word and every meal. From the mountains to the sea, every breath is harmony. Feel the beat and feel alive. With Sister MJ we thrive. Grains and fruits in every bite. Feel
Shalom.
the energy, feel the light. Harmony in every part. Naturally you, with all your heart.
Shalom. 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 How are you? Welcome to, as Sister Dawn said, Naturally You Thursday. How about that? Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Welcome, everyone. It's so good to be here in front of you tonight. I've had such an amazing week. I got a bunch of LOVE from my sisters, and I am so grateful. I hope you had a wonderful week as well as we going down to the end of it, and you're looking forward to the weekend because we have a Shabbat coming up. And we're in the month of August. What does that mean? It means we have the Feast of Trumpets coming on August the 30th. I hope you can be at a congregation somewhere and celebrate it. Tonight, I want to talk to you a little bit about something that is just, it's become an important subject because, we're all about what's natural, what the Most High gave us naturally. And society, of course, we know they've been lying to us. And if you don't know that yet, trust and believe you need to start looking because they've lied to us about everything. And with these lies comes a lot of, there's so many gaps. It's like they added years in history. They added things that never took place. If you look into the Dark Age, it never even took place. So there's so many lies, but what we want to do, we want to extrapolate out of the lies the good from nature that the Most High gave to us. That tree was good and evil. So it wasn't all bad, but what we're going to do tonight is we're talking about a subject that many may go, ooh, why is she talking about that? but it's important that we know the good and the bad and the ugly. Is that fair? I hope so. I think it is. I want to say shalom again, Sister Dawn, to Sister Kim, Sister Kana, Sister Nina, I saw. Arapika, I think I saw as well. Welcome, 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 my friends. Good to see you all. Esteline and KK. All right, now. And everybody who's watching and not putting their name in the text, shalom and welcome. The topic tonight is vapor. 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 Vapor in sickness and in health. So, what does that mean? There's a scripture I want to focus on in James. The book of James is a wonderful read, one of my favorites, actually. And in James 4:14, and this is not KJV, however, it gives you the message I want to share with you. And it says, you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow, for you are just a vapor that that appears for a little while and then vanishes away. And think about it. If you're thinking about vapor, what do you think about vapor? You think about smoke. You think about the clouds, the dew, the morning, the fog. It's there and then it vanishes away. Or in the wintertime, if you're in the cold climate and you breathe it out and your breath is like a vapor. Yes, so that is just like a vapor. That's where we are. All right. So when we hear and this vapor I'm talking about is from a plant from the earth, which started with a seed, a very tiny seed, by the way, sort of like the mustard seed, and that is the nicotine, the tobacco plant. When we hear the word nicotine, most of us think about vaping, which is the new craze these days. And then there's also cigarettes, right? And you think about addiction and possibly lung cancer. But beneath this whole stigma lies an interesting paradox that we want to explore tonight. Nicotine. Nicotine, the same compound that makes tobacco so addictive, also possesses enormous therapeutic potential as a treatment for neurological and cognitive disorders. So neurological, the neurons in the brain, the neurotransmitters that the brain, you have a thought and your thought happens when the body, the neurotransmitters sends an action for you to do. All right. And then cognitively, it's just seeing something, reading it and doing it, or just being able to hold a conversation in the proper text and context. And then neurologically, again, is just being able to handle life, know what's going on around you, and be able to handle what it is and how you are going to navigate throughout it. So those are the two things that I want us to focus on, the neurological and the cognitive disorders, because unbeknownst to us, that covers a whole lot of things. The number one cause of death, again, we know this, is both globally and the United States, is heart disease. Specifically, ischemic heart disease, which affects the blood supply to the heart. Now, I'm going to give you all a little synopsis of what we've been talking about. Death begins in the feet, right? And in the feet, we have all our sensory glands in the feet and the hands. And we need to keep the lymphatic system moving, and as well as that blood flow moving, not down, but up through the body, right? Think of your body. I like to think of us as an inverted tree. Okay, our hair being the roots, and then our bodies being the trunk of the tree, and then the arms are the leaves, the branches. Okay, and then the fingers, the branches. All right. So this is a sacred plant with ancient wisdom. And I say that because our forefathers, and you know the whole story, we had the 10 tribes came over to found the United States before it was that. And then, of course, Christopher Columbus and yada yada, they claimed that they found it, but they found us here, our brothers, the other 10 tribes. And the indigenous people used tobacco ceremoniously for healing. Unlike, today we do it for smoking because they say it's cool. Although it's not as prevalent as it was years ago. However, a lot of people still smoke. And nicotine happens to activate the brain receptors that protect the neurons and reduce inflammation. Now, we know about inflammation. It's the precursor to all disease. So we want to stay away from inflammation. And to hear that nicotine reduces it, that's a good sign, right? Nicotine shows therapeutic promise for depression, which is a big thing these days since 2020. ADHD, a lot of children are suffering from that because of their childhood shot schedule and other things. There's that Tourette syndrome and schizophrenia, to name a few, right? So if we think back, nicotine's anti-inflammatory effects may treat multiple brain disorders just based on what I just shared with you. And we want that to happen because that plant is called Nicotina. The name is Nicotina rustica plant. And long before the Europeans colonized the Americas, the indigenous people understood tobacco as a sacred medicine. Traditional tobacco was still and is an important component of healing ceremony. And unlike today's commercial tobacco products, which they've added a lot of things that, or let's just say they just used the wrong part of the plant. And often it was burned rather than inhaled. There's so many ways we can use this plant, you guys, and I'm hoping we can understand that by the end of the show today. So the indigenous healers in both North and South America continue to use tobacco today to treat conditions such as pain conditions and wound healing. It is used, there's a distinction between the sacred or ceremonial use because, ceremonial or sacred, it's critical that we understand that nicotine's therapeutic potential is there. However, it has natural compounds when used in their pure form without the hundreds of chemical additives. We love to add additives to products to make it look like it's good for us, but underneath it all, it's not good for us, right? And it's found in modern cigarettes. And of course, it creates an addiction because it is addictive if you're thinking about cigarettes. And it causes cancer, which we don't want to go there. That is disease on the max. But we've learned a whole lot since we started this show. We now know that a lot of the cancers in the body, I don't care what organ it's in, a lot of it is due to parasites. So we know how to react to it, right? Modern research is beginning to validate what the indigenous people already knew. Nicotine possesses unique neuroprotective and cognitive enhancing properties. It works by binding to receptors in the brain called nicotinic acetylcholine receptors in the brain. These receptors are important for our learning, our memory, as well as our attention and our neuroprotection. We have nerves running all up and down our body, and they need protection. A lot of us can have, you've heard of anxiety, you've heard of stress, that you've heard of when we're not using the vagus nerve, we're using the central nervous system, and we're using the fright or flight. So all of that has a, a way of putting us on edge. So we want to make sure we are using this nicotine in the way that nature made it to be used, instead of how the powers that be have used it to be destructive in many of our communities. When nicotine activates the brain receptors, it sets off a chain reaction. So, and think of dominoes all standing up, and then you hit one, and then the other one, they all start to go down. Same thing. It's a chain reaction. The receptors, known as A7 receptors, allow calcium to flow into the neurons, which is cells, right? Which triggers a cellular pathway that also gets activated by the brain's chemicals that help the neurons stay alive and healthy. And I'm not trying to get too deep into the weeds here, but this causes the cell to make protective proteins. So it's like, okay, you give me this, you give me that, so I'm gonna make something good with this. Here, let me give me a minute, let me mix it up, right? So it's making helpful proteins, and that acts like a shield to protect us from our cells, our brain cells dying when they're under attack from stress. There's that S word again, right? Stress, anxiety. That all causes that. So nicotine also it exhibits anti-inflammatory effects in the brain. So it activates, it's called a cholinergic anti-inflammatory pathway, which reduces the production of inflammatory chemicals known as cytokines while preserving anti-inflammatory signals. So when this stuff is coming out, the cytokines is there, is blocking it, is shielding it, because we this is the nicotine is anti-inflammatory. It doesn't give you inflammation, it gets rid of inflammation. All right? It reduces the production of inflammatory chemicals, and it while preserving the anti-inflammatory signals going on in the brain. This dual action is called a neuroprotection plus anti-inflammation. It makes nicotine an intriguing potential treatment for any neurodegenerative diseases or death when this inflammation plays this role. So what does that mean? What it means is that this has the whole U.S. Senate and House of Representatives on edge. This knowledge here about nicotine and what it's doing. And they create our federal tobacco laws by state and local governments and your cities and your counties, and they have the liberty to implement a more restrictive legislation. So what does that mean? Well, come to find out, we are in a very interesting time in our world right now. We have JFK heading, or RFK, excuse me, heading the health and wellness, health ministry, or whatever you want to call it. And while he is doing some things that may be good, there's a lot of things he's just letting slide under the table. And to me, this is one of them. So, so they know that nicotine is very helpful and very healing to us, and they want to keep it where they own it all. It's just like colonization or anything else, the slavery and everything else we've been through. When there's potential that we may know something, they want all the pie, not a piece of the pie, they want all of it. So, what's going on is they want to stop any country or any person from growing tobacco, and they want to stop you from using it, and they want to have the whole enchilada on the tobacco industry so that they can take it, control it, create a inferior product, but market it like it is the real product. Does that make sense? I mean, I know everybody's saying no, not my government, right? Not your government. Absolutely your government. I've told you many a times they lie, and I'm not lying. And I know they are lying, but that's what they're doing. I mean, it's so crazy, y'all. This helps people with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. You know how many people would be alive today if this information was known? If it was just shared? I mean, even animal studies have demonstrated that nicotine can protect dopaminergic neurons, which are the brain cells that are damaged because of Parkinson's. And you know, Parkinson's is when they have the shaking, I think it's the shaking going on, whether it's the head like Michael J. Fox or the hands. And I think that's also a neuro for Tourette's as well. But researchers have found that nicotine provides this protection by reducing levels of a protein called SIRT6. Right, exactly, Sister Dawn. Just like they're saying the CBD oil being good for autism. I'm not buying that one, but I know it helps. I know it helps, but I refuse to do anything with that whole, the marijuana plant. But yes, I agree. There are some good to it. However, me for one, stay away from it. I think the best thing would be let's just stop the vaccines. But who am I, right? Anyway, these brain tissues from the Parkinson's patients show increased levels of this protein, while the tissue from tobacco users show reduced levels. So it would really help if they would allow it to. Just like Alzheimer's, studies have shown that the nicotinic acetylcholine receptors are progressively lost during Alzheimer's. But if they used it, if they gave them the nicotine, it would help them by boosting activity. So it's one of those things. I mean, you have a study at Vanderbilt University, which is here in Tennessee, and it shows that nicotine can improve memory, attention, and cognitive processing in both healthy individual and those with mild cognitive impairment. But listen, how many of the nursing homes or the senior centers where they have before they send them over to uh, what's the oh gosh, I can see the place before they send them out to die. They have these facilities that they can go and live, and everything is fine. The first floor you can get out and do everything. The second floor, as the dementia takes hold of you, the hospice. Before you go to hospice, you have these centers that the parents, if they don't want to take care of you, they can send you to a facility. And you on the first floor, they're wonderful. You can go out and do activities. And as the dementia starts taking in, you go up to the second floor, and then the third floor, and the fourth floor is where Alzheimer patients, all they feed them is sugar, 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 and coffee, and then they let them live their best life because they want them to, go peacefully. To me, that's not living. And if we have this nicotine where we can put a patch on their body and help them cognitively as well as with their memory, I think that's something that we need to explore. So I back in the day, uh, there was this word called panacea. Panacea is a word that it's like it's the cure all. And while I'm not promoting smoking, you guys, please don't think I'm promoting smoking. I'm not. But there are people out here before the truth that have been smoking, and people who may come across this in the future that do smoke. And I just want to share it on a wide array of options for us. Okay, so we have the word panacea, and panacea is a cure-all. And it's something that we need to take a look at because the Most High said everything He created was good. He did not create that tree. He did not put that tree in the garden, contrary to what many people may think. So if we look at the definition of panacea, we see it's a cure-all, and we want to take advantage of all the cures in this product. Okay, in this natural product that our forefathers knew about and they used it. This tobacco is good medicinally for headaches, colds, wounds, and stomach issues. How many of us have gut issues that this can heal? Now, the European explorers adopted these practices. Of course, they stole it from us. And they called it the holy herb with multiple healing properties. Multiple. We had physicians like Nicholas Monardis and Giles Everand who claimed tobacco could cure over 65 diseases. The FDA and our government do not want that information to get out. It can heal migraines, ulcers, asthma, and even deafness. Did you hear me? Even deafness. The industry that is making so much off of deafness. Tobacco smoke was believed to be an antidote to venom and pestilence. And Dr. Everett even suggested it could reduce the need for physicians altogether. We can't have that happen. I mean, they paid millions of dollars or thousands. Okay, I'm exaggerating. But it may feel like millions to them to go through school, and they have to make it back somehow, don't they? Now, also, and I know this is going to sound bizarre, but I have to tell you about it because in the 18th century in London, they had tobacco smoke enemas. They were used to revive drowning victims along the Thames River. Yeah, imagine that. It was prescribed for everything from pain relief to spiritual rejuvenation, earning its place as a universal remedy. A universal remedy. So let's take a look at what all it does, okay? It increases the neurotransmitters, and its studies have shown that the human brain contains about 86 billion neurons, which depend on chemicals known as neurotransmitters to communicate between each other and to process information. So I'm speaking to you, y'all are listening, and you're processing it. Okay? Okay. That's what it does. All right. Neurotransmitters help to regulate various functions within the body, our body, including our energy. Anybody have sleeplessness, or they're tired all the time, fibromyalgia they call it, where the body aches? You've got it helps these functions. It helps regulate these functions, which include energy, sleep, libido, male and female, addictions, cravings, and mood. Okay? They also control the way we learn, we remember, we focus, and we handle stress. Nicotine works by imitating the acetylcholine and binding to the nicotinic acetylcholine receptors to promote discharge. Neurotransmitters such as dopamine, you all have heard of dopamine, you've heard of serotonin, and acetylcholine, which are involved in our cognitive functions, our ability to, be alert and snap back and respond, to have conversation, all of that. It increases those neurotransmitters. It has antidepressant properties. It is one of the positive effects of nicotine is antidepressants, right? Who can't use that in this depressive world? Nobody wants to be depressed. You want to be upbeat. You want to be responsive. And then it also possesses neuroprotective properties from degeneration, which is again, it protects the our brain. So we want that neuroprotection. It treats schizophrenia, if you know anybody who has that. Also, it reduces the effect of that condition by improving their mental stability. It manages attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. That's what we call ADHD today. Okay, it also controls Alzheimer's disease. Research into the ability of nicotine to enhance brain function has been going on for a long time. They're not telling us the results. They are not telling us the results. It also helps, get this, ladies and men, it helps in weight and insulin control. Diabetics, pre diabetics, it helps. And I'm just talking about a patch, okay? I'm talking about a patch. It increases your brain waves. It increases your brain waves. So if you have a weight problem, the nicotine can help control the weight, but as far as your appetite and your hunger, but as far as increasing our brain waves, the electrical activities within the brain, it can help monitor those beta waves. Then it also manages Parkinson's disease. All right, Sister Dawn, wait a minute now, wait a minute. Then it also protects the gut, and we have SIBO and CFO going on in the gut and all kinds of itises going on in the gut. It also repairs our body's tissues, and it repairs wounds. How many of you have wounds that can't heal? Cysts and uh, what are the what is cysts? And then we also have boils that takes a while to heal. These are things that nicotine can repair. And it also helps with canker sores, uterine fibroids, vomiting during pregnancy, hypertension, endometriosis and endometrial cancers, thrombosis of the veins, fatal heart attacks, all of that, and a whole lot more. I'm going to show you because I know y'all are saying, oh, there's no way, but there is a way. And so we found that, I'm saying we, but I'm just showing they have found the powers that be, the companies that are actually trying to help us heal because they realize we're in a crisis here. They have a transdermal patch, right? And one of the companies I found that I really like is called Tolavita. And the reason I like this company is because it's very natural. Now, when we talk about nicotine, some is stronger than the others, and yes, sis, uterine fibroids, yep. So it comes in different milligrams, okay? There's a 7 milligrams, 17, and 21. So you want to start off slow. Start off with the 7, do that for a few weeks, and then you go up to the 21. You don't want to start off there. All right? Everything in moderation. Now, you guys, I have tried everything in my power to find something bad about these people. And I don't know if it's just too new of a company. I've looked at the name of it, Tolavita. They're out of, I want to say, California here in the U.S., but they're like out of Croatia or somewhere in Europe. Okay. Now these patches, as you can see here, it's clear, you can't see it, but there's 36 in a pack. And this one I have is the burning one because I have some fat to burn around my midsection. I'm not lying. It's real. I'm just trying to deal with it. And if I can get this to help me, I'm going to try it. What I do, quite simple. You peel it off and find a spot to put it on your body. But it's not just everywhere in your body you want it. All right, let's discuss where you want to put this patch because it's a square. It looks like it's about it's about an inch and a half each side, a full square. Okay, and you're going to put it on a part of your body that you haven't put lotion or oil, right? And you're also going to, we'll look at this the picture on the screen of the body parts where you should be able to use it. Okay. Again, I want you all to understand, I'm not promoting cigarette smoking. I'm just saying that this tobacco from the the nicotine from the tobacco plant, excuse me, is something that we need to focus on. And can you put that picture back up on the screen, please? Uh, all right, if you all can snap a picture of this, because don't you just don't need to put it anywhere on your body. It tells you specifically where to put it, and also uh, areas that you should not put it. So you don't, I mean, some people and some patches give you like a side effect, which is like a rash. So you want to make sure you're putting it in the place that they recommend. And I found, and the nicotine ones, I found this at my grocery store. I don't recommend it, but it's transdermal and it does help for what it's doing. Because I am talking to you from a healthier side of things, I am recommending this Tolavita. And if you go to their site, I have a link for the show that we are using that you can go and do all your investigative work because I do want you to check it out for yourself. Don't believe it just because I'm saying it. Do your research, as with everything else. But according to tobacco, according to what's currently being promoted, tobacco is making a comeback. We demonized and said everybody stop smoking. We moved smoking out of the places because they added chemicals to it. But now we are using tobacco plants to produce vaccines, insulin, and cancer immunotherapies. That's what the companies want to do now with it. Its high biomass and ease of genetic modification makes it ideal for pharmaceutical production, especially in low income regions. You all heard that, right? They will genetically change the plant. It's what they do. There's nothing new under the sun. It just cycles, okay? It's what they do. They're going to do what they do. So what we want to do, we want to take this holy herb, right? And although they are doing this biotech thing they have going on, we want to offer herbal Tolavitas anti-smoke patches designed to help reduce cravings for those who smoke using a blend of natural ingredients. They come in the different strengths of 7 milligrams, 14, and 21, and they are marketed as a discreet, non-invasive aid for smoking, as well as, and this is what I love about this, uh, the Tolavita stands out because a Dr. Artist who brought all of this information to light for me, they have ones for the skin, for energy, for collagen, for creatine, for those that work out a lot. Like I said here, I have the one for burning. If you're working out, you want to burn that fat, they have one for that. They have one, they sent me a free one for hangover, which I don't use, but I'm sure I'll run into somebody sometime who I can share this with, because every now and then some people, maybe I'll take it to Tabs. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that. Bad MJ. Anyway, so what makes this stand out is it has a transdermal delivery. You just put it on the skin. And you know, our skin is our largest organ, right? And it's going to deliver the vitamins and the nutrients directly through the skin. Because of the pores in our skin, it will uptake it. All right. It's not good to put two different ones on it. Yes, Beauty Beats, Dr. Artist recommended rugby because he didn't know about the other ones. Rugby, and I believe there was, I forget the name of the other one. It was rugby, and another one he referred because he didn't know of the Tolavita. Once he heard about the Tolavita, he has some coming. I'm sure he has it by now, but again, I'm just sharing with you all what I have. The whole nicotine one, I mean, I get it, but I think if they're using it for other things that our body can use it for, it could help accelerate our healing. Now, they have many products that are infused with herbal extracts and essential oils. So, whether it's for acne, wrinkles, fatigue, cravings, each patch is designed for a specific need. Easy to use, they're wearable anytime. Now, I don't know if you all know this, but there are certain foods that have nic- uh, nicotine receptors in it that we eat. And I'm trying to get more information on that because it's as if the Most High knew these are foods that we eat, and with us using that patch, it could help accelerate our healing. Now, some of the ingredients I found that they use, I'll give you an example. This is the tobacco extract. This is the 21 milligram, a gradual release to reduce withdrawal symptoms. This is if you were smoking. And it has mint and sweet orange oil, which is refreshing scent to curb your cravings as well as elevate the mood. There's ginger and clove oil to help with nausea and your respiratory comfort. Because, you know, a lot of people who smoke, you hear the wheezing, or who have asthma or respiratory issues with the lungs, there might be some wheezing that as well. And then there's also anise oil, which calms the nervous system and suppresses the appetite. So it's more than one thing it's helping, right? Now, these are sold on Amazon as well. I believe it's like $13.99 for 30 patches. But like I said, we have a link for our show that they're giving you a discount of 10% off if you get it through us, right? So it's a natural alternative to traditional nicotine patches with a focus on a herbal support and lifestyle improvements. We're trying to get, you know, the whole kit and caboodle. We want to address our whole body health and wellness. So whether it's the hangover patch has vitamin C in it, which is really good, and it also has iron for energy and focus. The beauty patches have collagen in it. They have the wrinkles. They're addressing us because you know what? They're mon uh it's love the skin you're in. That's what their motto is. Love the skin you're in. Where did you hear that before, huh? Love the skin you're in. All right, then they have acne solutions for those who have acne. They have hydrochloride acne patches. They have biocollagen overnight face masks that you can wear. They have sports recovery for the creatine patches, muscle recovery patches, all of that. Shalom rock. And there's also the transdermal, like I said, delivery and the natural ingredients. All of this makes it stand out. And it's discreet. You don't have to wear it so everybody sees it. You just put it on and go about your business, right? So I want to also mention that Dr. Brian Artis, he was the one who during 2020 came out and discovered that they were putting it in the water and a whole lot more about what was going on with that product. And he recently did a whole presentation he's sharing with everyone. And he's sharing about what's going on with Washington and the government and what they want to do with this. And I want to share this information with you all because I think it helps us. We can speak to it with intelligence and understanding where they're going because it's all about, for them, it's profits over people, and that's where they're going. And like I mentioned before, even King James was giving it a bad name because they were using it for smoking instead of the healing properties that in Scripture we were given. The plants were given because every day the Most High created, He said it was good, right? So if we can, I want to share this information from Dr. Artis. And there's a lot of people out there who, especially the Indians, the native Indians, who still use nicotine today, but their way has not been popular. And like I mentioned, there are some plants also, excuse me, not plants, there are foods that have nicotine in it. I don't know, many of you may know traces of nicotine can be found in eggplant, which is a nightshade that many people say, oh, you can't eat it because it's a nightshade. There's green peppers, considered a nightshade, tomatoes, potatoes, cauliflower, the teas, nuts, spinach, and cabbage. All of these have nicotine receptors. And again, from a holistic aspect and all, I believe that the Most High put this here for us to use in a manner for times like this where you can't trust going to them. But if we had something that was a panacea, that it was a cure-all for everything, we could use that to help heal us. Now, Dr. Artis's presentation, let me share that with you. Oh, I hope I can remember how to do this, you guys. Ooh, okay. Did I do this right? I'm just going to wing it. Okay. So what has happened here? Can I get slide number 5, please? So Dr. Artis went and did this whole presentation that he gave to us to share. And what's happening? Let's see. Slide number 5, please. Okay. If you look at slide number 5, you will see here under what's underlined. Okay. Can you blow that, make that a little bigger so they can see it and snap a picture of it, please? Because what's underlying there, it says the lobby or lobbying activity is defined in the law as an attempt to influence certain government decision making, which includes the passage or defeat of any legislation or resolution and other government activities. Every lobbyist and client spends millions of dollars trying to influence state and municipal government. Okay? Now let's go to number 8, slide number 8. And this all it builds up, you guys, because what's really going on here is profit over people. So if we get slide number 8. All right, so if you look here, you will see all of the categories where the government, where they're making the money. Okay? If we can blow that up a little bit. And of course, you see the pharmaceutical one as the number one. You see the percentage there? 293.7 in pharmaceutical health products. And look at all the other ones. So, of course, you see why they want to focus on this. You absolutely see why they want to focus on this, because they can control it and make the money. They don't care about you and I. Profits over people. All right, let's go to slide number 12. So we see it's under the pharmaceutical, and we know that pharmakia has that serpent on it. Not everything. I mean, you know what? To be fair, I'm going to be fair. Not everything that the pharmaceutical makes is bad. They do have some products that they actually use good herbs and, fruits and stuff in. But, and there's always a but, they are planning to use this for to control us, pure control. So if we look at this, again, you're seeing here, Merck, look at Merck, is one of the number one. Merck, Sanofi, AstraZeneca's there, Novartis, Bristol Myers Squibb, and what's that? Gilead, GSK. All of these are the ones that are making the most money. Look at that, 491, not million, but billion. So you can see why we want to take notice, because anything they're pushing on us, we want to go look the opposite direction, right? Now let's look at slide number 14. So what we're showing here is the percentage of the lion's share they have of the pie in the market space, right? And now if you look here, you will see there's a document out there that he pulled this information out of this book, or a paper that was written years back, okay? And in that, it shows us, remember panacea, and what does that mean? Okay, panacea, the drugs that bring in the most pharma revenue for them, okay? Oncology, as we know, is 320, no, yes, okay. In 2021, it was 176. And now 2026, it looks like it's going to be 320.6. So it's growing, and they're projecting it to grow because part of the CV-19 was that many people are going to have cancers from it. And that is where we are right now. So with that fact, we know that all of these people are going to have cancer. A lot of them are still surviving from it. And I remember in the 1970s when Nixon said, we're going to have a war, a fight on cancer. We're going to find a cure. And now how many years later, there's cures, but everybody who brings out about a cure, they demonize or they just are unalive. So we want to use our wisdom. We want to use our wisdom. Okay, let's look at slide, 3 more slides. I'm running out of time, but I want to wrap it up. Slide 15, and then we want to do slide 16. Because for each of these issues, and I'm talking all these drugs, all those 10 companies, each one has a specific drug or two, right? That they use to promote whatever illness That's what the doctors will recommend to the patients who have the issues. So look at the lower red, that little red square there. It will show you what illnesses correspond to that drug. And guess what will get rid of this? Yes, your tobacco, your nicotine. So it says here, what is that? Keytruda is the world's best-selling cancer drug by a large margin. Of course, it's by Merck, right? 25 billion in sales in 2023, 29.5 in 2024. All right. Now let's go to the next slide, 16. And what we're going to see, you're ahead of me. Thank you. All right. So then in 16, you see all of the things that, if you can expand that for me a bit, please. Okay. So now you see what else it's telling us. Melanoma, non-small cell lung cancer, head and neck cancer, all of this, the Hodgkin's lymphoma, oh my gosh, bladder cancer, biliary tract cancer, liver cancer, cervical cancer, all of these, they want you to take that drug, but you can do nicotine and take care of it. And also, nicotine will get rid of the parasites. I would recommend it starting at least 3 days or 5 days before the full moon. And make sure your bowels are moving good again. Always with parasite cleanses, make sure your bowels are moving well. All right, so then let's go to slide number 37. About 37? Yeah, I could do that. 37. And you'll see here, there's different slides, all of them showing the motive behind their drugs. And this was a document I found online by Grace G. Stewart, and she clearly outlines it here. And we'll wrap up with this, that they know. They know. Can you expand that for me, please? Okay, it says the history of the medicinal use of tobacco before the Civil War has apparently not been documented in a single piece of writing. Yet a review of publications on the subject show that this plant was long used as orthodox medicine by the members of the medical profession. And it goes on to say that tobacco was considered to be one of the God sent plants. Okay? And we talking our God sent it for us to use. And they see it as that, but they won't tell you that because they do not want us to be healed. If they wanted us to be healed, there would be an issue because they would lose out on the profits. The powers that be, they want to keep their pockets full. They don't want you and me and everybody else. Although the Most High made it where there's enough to go around, they don't want that. So I hope that you all can take this information and please do your research. If you come up with something and you want to ask questions or share it with me, please send an email to my email at, they'll put it up on the screen. And if anyone has any questions, we have the link for the whole presentation from Dr. Artis. He's very happy to share it out with anyone who wants to see it, look at it. And you can go to his website as well. However, again, we have a link for, you can get 10% off on your order if you order any of the Tolovita. I like them because they have it in the regular doses like the ones you have in the store. You may not find it in the store. I tend to like the fact that it's a company focused on health and wellness, whereas It's one that is just getting it for their profits and that only. I mean, yes, there's profits in it, but you want something that everybody else can get something from instead of that one basket, if that makes sense, right? So there's plenty tobacco plants out there. This legislation they're hoping to pass by 2029. So you have a few years if you want to dry it and store it. Again, our skin is our largest organ. You can and make a tea and do a foot bath and let the you draw up the tobacco from the nicotine from your feet into the body and heal that way. Do not think that you have to use the patch. I'm just showing you all the options there are. All right. So please, again, you can grow it, let it dry, store it in your mason jars or however you store it, and you can use it, sell it as needed ahead of the game because when they get hold of it, and more than likely this legislation will pass, although we want to stop it. The link to purchase, they should be putting it up. It is Tolavita. Do you have the link? Let's see. Let's see. I know I sent it to him. Well, here we go. It's in the show notes. Look in the show notes after this, and that should be the 10% off discount. And again, you have it for the collagen, you have it for the fat, you have it for the gut, you've got it for all the itises and everything else, and that is in the show notes. I have run out of time. I thank you for your time and your attention. Next week, I'm going to do a different show because, as I mentioned last week, I'm realizing how important the lymphatic system is to our health and wellness because we are on the precipice of preventative healing. We want to make sure we're doing everything daily to creating good habits to help our body heal, and understanding how to move that lymph is very important. So we're going to go back to that again. You can watch it and hopefully do the exercises with me. It's going to be a hands-on episode, and we're going to do it together, talk about it, and see all the benefits of it to each and every one of us. And I pray that you can share this information with others. All right? And thank you, Sister Dawn Shalom and Sister Arapika. If you can look in the show notes, you should see that. Again, if anyone has questions, any information I have, I'm happy to share because I am learning and I like to be a sponge and continually soak it all up because there's so much out there. And you know, we're in a time where we asking the Most High for help. We're crying out to Him. And this is something He sends that gives us information, and we want to be able to use it. And with that, much love, peace, happiness, and we'll see you soon. Next day 6? No, I'm day 5. Ooh, I'm rushing it. But thank you all. Have a great night and a wonderful Shabbat. And until next time, praise Ahaya. He is our power.
Every healing flower, Sister MJ shows the way.
Look at the
Naturally
YouTube.
living every day. Naturally you, naturally free.
Arapika, I will reach out to you.
As God meant to cure. Sister MJ shows what's real in every word and every meal. From the mountains to the sea, every breath is harmony. Feel the beat and feel alive. With Sister MJ we thrive. Grains and fruits in every bite. Feel the energy, feel the light. Harmony in every part. Naturally you with all your heart.